lot of heart. Ric Flair really laid it right out on the table, and he said that it doesn't matter how many end up with a horseman in the cage, that he will fight to the finish here tonight. He has a lot of character. He has a lot of determination. As they now go back to 10 to Curt Hennig, we just wonder what Hennig will be able to bring to this cage. And I really think that our, and I say our, as in WCW, our backs are against the wall.
Well, I tell you what, having a lot of heart is one thing, but inside the war game, you need a lot of meat. Well, you look at the eyes of Ric Flair, and that said it all right there. That man's a time bomb inside. He's ready to explode. And when they shut the door to that cage, you're going to hear an explosion I think everyone's going to feel in this sport.
Well, let me say this, and I'm really speaking for the hard here, fans and colleagues, when I say this. For the past year, I've heard a lot of lip service from a lot of people in WCW. With the exception of the man to my right, Larry Zbyszko. And Larry, you have stood up in the face of the NWO coming up to our broadcast location. And as the Giant makes his way out, let's now switch roles for a second. Let's say that a member of the NWO goes down before War Games. You know and I know that Scott Norton, who is here tonight, or the Macho Man, or Scott Hall, who are here tonight, would step in and take his place. So if Curt Hennig is down, I'm going to implore the other WCW athletes, no, you may not be members of the Horsemen. Maybe Roddy Piper, interim commissioner, put the Horsemen in as a unit. But WCW, if we are one man short, need you, why not step in? What would be wrong with that?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a good idea. Problem is, who are you going to get to take his place?
Well, look in the ring right now. You say you need the beef, right? You got it.
Well,
7'4".
Is the Giant going to agree?
In unison, fans here in Winston-Salem holding up that one sign that universally is known as the chokeslam, and for opponents, universally is known as the end of your night. Thank you. Here we go. Scott Norton, one of the strongest, most powerful, fearless men in our sport. But he won't be able to hook it up with the Giant, but he may be able to pound him down. Well, maybe not.
He's not going to be able to match the Giant power for power. Strong as Norton is, he doesn't have near the size needed to go toe-to-toe with this guy. Who does? No one I know.
No. So if need be, if Hennig cannot continue, then I'm going to say no more. Let's just call this match.
Well, even the Steiners could figure that one out. You'd want him to.
Pick up.
He's got Norton, this big man, across his shoulders like a child. Oh, no. He hit the pole.
He really did. He really hit the pole. And maybe Norton, as a member of the NWO, realizes that WCW may band together. So it's Norton's opportunity. That is, if Hennig cannot come into War Games tonight, maybe it's Norton's chance here, his mission to take the Giant down so he cannot come back and replace it.
What happened to Curt Hennig? Whatever has happened to Curt Hennig, those orders came down from Bischoff and Hogan.
Of course they did, Brain. Of course they did. Don't think for a minute anyone bought the going to get a soda and there was Curt Hennig routine.
Well, I tell you, if anybody's upset, it's got to be Flair, because he's got to be kicking himself knowing he should have known better.
Through the bottom rope. The big man is backhand, at least attempting, and Scott Norton waiting on it. This is what you want to be. You want to be the first man in the ring. Scott Norton showing you how to take advantage of it to a degree, but he hit hard as well, guys.
You know, I'm surprised a man like Norton, one time the world arm wrestling champion, spent a lot of time in Japan training. I mean, I'm surprised a guy like this would sell his soul to the New World Order. Well, see, Larry, you don't know what kind of money they're offering. You don't know what kind of lies and smoke screens Bischoff and Hogan have put in all these guys' minds. Delusions of grandeur, eh?
I think there's got to be a realization down the road for these guys that they are only there until they being the NWO, being Bischoff and Hogan, are finished with them. Finished using these men.
Tony, as long as Hogan is the champion, and as long as Hall and Nash are the tag team champions, nobody in the NWO is going to get a shot at him. Hogan's just aligning himself with people he has to worry about.
Oh, my! It doesn't take much for the Giant's throat to hit the top rope because he is so tall. You can stand almost to the other side of the ring and do it.
And you know, here at War Games, referee's got a hard enough job, but he's laying back a little bit. He's kind of letting everybody fight their own battles.
Well, let me also say this. I can tell you right now, they would not tell you this publicly, and I can tell you that the referees in WCW are kind of intimidating. I mean, these guys, being the NWO, will attack anyone. Announcers, referees, members of the front office, James J. Dillon.
Yeah, Hogan worked him over.
Yeah, exactly. So guys like Mickey J, like the other referees, like Randy Anderson, even like Nick Patrick, Mark Curtis, they are all basically wondering, hey, could I be next if I don't call it down the middle?
Well, they don't care, these guys, the NWO. If they beat up J.J. Dillon, what would they do to Mark Curtis?
Yeah, there comes an intimidation factor that really overrides everything, every emotion that you have. And that's why, Larry, I'm really glad you're here tonight.
Well, thank you.
I want you by our side each and every step.
I wouldn't miss this one for the world. I'm just concerned now about the Horseman situation. And I'm surprised how Norton got to the Giant here.
I'll tell you what, Norton, you know, we talked about this. Even though the Giant is really the most awesome man in professional wrestling today, Scott Norton fears no one.
Giant may be the most awesome man on this earth. Yeah, one thing Norton does, he has a lot of confidence. And that's why I'm surprised he'd sell his soul.
Oh, boy. Big Scott Flash Norton. The nickname Flash came from the fact that he could beat you arm wrestling in a flash. As soon as the judge or the referee let go of the hand, boom, the match was over.
Yeah, at one time, he beat everybody in the world, and now he's stooped to becoming a robot. Oh, he's got power, brother.
Does he ever? Have we ever seen the Giant handled like that? And the Giant still with enough reserve to kick out, push away from the attempted pin by Scott Flash Norton. And out of the depths comes the show of a choke slam.
No!
Oh, what an athlete.
Did you ever see that before? Nipped right up there.
Incredibly, the fans erupt. They're standing everywhere.
There's an athlete.
And you are seeing a 7'4", 450 comeback before our very eyes.
And he's going for the choke slam. Oh, Mr. Norton.
The Giant. Up.
But can he hold?
1, 2, 3.
That's impressive. This one for the New World Order.
How about that? No one gets up from the choke slam. No one.
Now, you don't see anybody pick up Scott Norton by his neck and pick him up that high in the air and get a 1, 2, 3. Unless you're that man right there. A 7'4", over 450 pound, most phenomenal athlete in the world, the Giant.